Chaotically Nerdy is made by nerds for nerds. This podcast is made by adults for adults and children with bad parents. Adult language will be used and adult situations may arise. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Chaotically Nerdy. On this week's episode is me, Tyler.
And me, Jarrett.
And me, Ethan.
And this week we're talking about a terrible movie.
And Ethan's favorite director.
Yeah. That I didn't realize was the director of this.
Yeah.
Because in true
I
fashion.
don't know how you, like, this is
This
This is like his baby.
yeah.
I just don't pay attention
His
to it.
ugly baby.
I'm going to be honest. Before I watched this movie, I had no idea what it was about.
I've watched it twice. I still don't fucking know.
I'm not sure Zack Snyder knows what the movie's about.
So the movie is Rebel Moon Part 1. Question mark. Why is there a Part 2 coming? But
Because Netflix paid for both of them.
well, Netflix
In
is fucking
classic
stupid.
Snyder fashion.
It is the most disappointing thing about this movie is that it's called Part 1.
in
That
classic,
there's more.
There's more.
in classic Snyder fashion. He decided he was going to make a movie, right?
Yeah.
And then got halfway through it and realized it's too big. It needs 2 movies.
And Netflix was like,
Yeah,
you got it, boss,
fine.
because you have such a great track record.
So that's why there's 2 movies, because he literally he needed more money.
So if I'm not incorrect, so this story that he wrote.
Yes.
He wrote this.
Uh-huh.
The screenplay was helped by other people, but he wrote this story.
Uh-huh.
And if I'm not mistaken, he's presented it to like Disney
Yep.
to make a Disney Star Wars movie
Yep.
with this story.
Yeah.
And they denied him multiple times.
Understandable.
Multiple times. You'd think you'd get the idea that maybe it sucks. If Disney won't make it, maybe it sucks.
Yeah, Disney does make a lot of shitty stuff.
And so he got someone else to make it, but then they rewrote it so that it wouldn't be too close to Star Wars.
Yeah.
And
So now it's just too
But
close.
the bone,
so now
but the
there's-
bones are still there. You're
the
like,
bones
I
are still
can
there.
still see it.
Yeah, you can
If
still
I,
see it.
If I squint hard enough, I can see.
You don't
like-
even have to squint.
No.
You could have no eyelids. You be blind and fucking know. It's so fucking. It's so so
Stevie
similar.
Wonder could see that this shit was based off Star Wars.
Yeah.
I agree with Ethan wholeheartedly on that because I could tell it was based off of Star Wars from the fucking just title picture.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a fucking Star
But
Wars
that's
film.
literally the story for it. Is that he wrote it for a Star Wars universe movie, and they denied him multiple times to the point that he was like, "Okay, well, I'll take it somewhere else," and rewrote it.
I'll make my own version of Star Wars.
I'll make my own Star Wars.
Yeah.
What's that?
So first up, notable actors.
Anthony Hopkins is in it for
Like the beginning.
like a split second.
Ed Screen's in it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Both the Dario Naharis are in it. Yeah, that's true.
Are they?
Yeah,
Both of them?
both of them.
Yeah, both of them. That was the only thing that made me want to watch this movie was like I want to see them both react.
Oh yeah, they are. Cause
They do. I was like, hey, they actually are like on screen together. This is kind of
Yeah.
like humorous.
Charlie Hunnam is in it.
Yeah. Man.
Isn't Jason Momoa in it?
No.
What am I thinking? I seen something.
You're thinking
I'm
of-
thinking of Dune.
Yeah.
I was thinking of a good movie. Yeah.
Fair.
I can never say his name, but he's in a shitload of like okay and shitty movies. Jimon,
Hunsu?
yeah,
Yeah.
he's in that as well. That's literally like the 4 people that
I'm trying to think if
Kinda.
there's
4 or 5.
anybody else.
there's not, and even if they are, they're not worth noting because it was such a shitty movie.
Yeah.
I also wrote down: is this an original script or based on something? Well, obviously, we've already talked about it. It's original script. That was shitty.
That was based on something.
That was, it's true. Sam was starting, like, she watched this movie with me.
For Sam.
Yeah. And the first, like, rift that they go through looks like a vagina, is what she said.
Oh, Ray Fisher.
Oh, it's
yeah. Ray Fisher's in it.
She goes,
slurping.
she's like, that looks like a vagina. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're not wrong.
It certainly did. I rewatched it past couple days.
I'm
so,
sorry.
Yeah.
Ray Fisher's in it. He plays the other war leader The one that sacrificed himself. And Carrie Ellis plays the king, but he's barely
in it.
He's barely
maybe
there.
10 seconds.
Yeah.
I put fucking idiot tells about the reserves because isn't that the other?
That's
Dariana
Michael
Harris?
Huseman.
Yeah.
Why anybody would trust anybody?
He's naive.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. He died. The quote unquote pacifist robot who's no longer a pacifist 6 seconds later.
Best part of the whole
100%.
movie.
That was, the action scene in the bar, and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty,
Yeah.
maybe this isn't going to be awful.
No, it started on a bad note, went up a little bit, and then just roller
Just
coaster
plummeted.
to hell.
Straight to hell.
I put too much slow mo because every 3 seconds there
Well,
was slow
that
mo in
is
this fucking
that's just
film.
Zack Snyder.
I know.
Everything was Zack Snyder. 300. How much slow mo was in 300?
I mean, now it makes more sense now that I know it was Snyder.
I'm like, I don't know how you didn't know.
I mean,
It's
it was
just-
obvious just watching it. You don't have to like look it up. It was just
Yeah, but I don't pay attention to like who directors are of films. I just don't. Like, it's not something I care about. I care about the story, and that's it.
yeah. It was Zack Snyder. Yeah.
I then followed that one up with the robot doesn't kill, but the guy ordered him to kill. It was like, if you know that that's the robot's thing now, is that they've deprogrammed them, you think you could just say it and it'll listen? It's not like it's a person. I could.
They didn't reprogram them.
I thought they did.
No, they
No.
just stopped.
They
doing
just
it.
stopped fighting.
Yeah.
No reprogramming was done. They just stopped fighting.
Once the king was dead, they explained they just said, nah, fuck it.
They just didn't have a reason to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no reprogramming at all.
I'm assuming
I-
that it will play a bigger part in the second part.
Yeah.
That was one of the more disappointing things about the movie is that that the robot didn't actually take part in anything outside of that.
Yeah.
Outside of the barn scene.
I thought they were reprogrammed. Never mind. That makes sense. It makes more sense now that he would order it because then they would do it. I've done lost my spot. This is the problem with being on the phone. They should have just named the girl Gamora.
Oh man, that's so true.
Like,
I wonder where they got the idea for it. That's a pretty heavy theme throughout this movie.
Is that they just
steal? Well, like every major like scene sequence, right?
Yeah.
So like, whether they're in the tavern, they're in the bar, the inn, whatever it is, and they have a little fight with the weird dude who doesn't look totally like a Balchinian.
Yeah.
Tell me, the scene with the farm, the scene with the griffin.
Yeah.
Why? And every other scene sequence where it's in like a different scenario is stolen directly from something else, and they just
Oh, yeah.
crammed it all together. In a,
Oh, you'll get that
Blender.
as I'm like
yeah,
going through the notes because most of them I just attached what it got
yeah.
stolen
The
from.
characters are all stolen from somewhere, and then they just create this team called the Village People. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not
You're
wrong.
not wrong.
Not in this
You know who
slightest.
told me that? Dad. That's the Village People. He was like, "That's the Village People."
I wrote down intellect devourer giving info.
Oh no, wait, no, that was Mom. Mom told me it was the Village People.
Gotcha. Because apparently there was a fucking intellect devourer sitting there.
Yeah.
Which, as I watched this, I was like, is this fucking... Actually, I'll bring that up here in a minute. Next up, what in the hentai with Noble? So,
Yeah.
Ed Screen's character getting fucked by all the...
Tentacles, yeah.
Yeah. And like, what? It just felt out of place. I mean, he probably stole it from a hentai. Jamie, tell us in Discord whenever you listen to
Yeah.
this what hentai that one was stolen from, because I'm sure you know.
It's stolen from hentai in general. I mean, it's just what it is.
Yeah, but I'm sure he knows like the specific one that has that
And
color.
if we're going to name
tentacles.
everything that felt out of place in this movie,
You mean the entire movie?
this is going to be like 3 hours long.
Yeah, no. Well, I just did it very briefly.
Longer than the movie.
Next up, I put, is this Prisoner of Azkaban? Because of the griffin and trying to... It's okay.
He even bowed to it.
I know. That's why I said it. It's like, that's fucking Harry Potter.
And then they had the little flight scene where he was like, woo! Yeah, it's the fucking same thing.
It's the exact same thing.
I feel
Just
like,
with
it feels
cowboys
like Zack Snyder just like
Indians.
watches movies and has like his phone or like a notebook out. And it's like, yeah, I like
that
that.
was really cool.
That's cool.
You know what he does? The exact same thing I do for scripts.
He's like,
Is
"That's
watch
cool."
the movie, take a note.
That's cool. I like that. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Watch the movie, take a note. Watch the movie, take a note. That's all I do. And then he just puts all of his together, unfortunately. Next up, I put, did they just flip to random pages in the monster manual? I put that because they were fighting the Drider.
Yeah.
It's like that. Like I've seen 7 D&D monsters at this point.
Yeah.
Like what
Well,
the
they had the horses with the weird. What they were just horses with a thing on their head. It was like it wasn't even part of their body. It was just like a helmet.
This is one of those movies that I love it because it's so bad.
It's so stupid, but they took it seriously. Like the way
Yeah.
they made it, they took it so.
You
seriously.
can tell that it's like meant to be a serious movie,
It's
but
not.
it's not.
It's so bad.
If they had they switched this a little bit to be more of a comedy and play on all of this shit,
Could
I
have worked.
think it would have been a good movie.
You're right though. They had the intellect devourer. They had the griffin. They had the
Drider.
They had the. Well, I guess that would be that could be like the thing with the tentacles could be like a aboleth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suck me off, Aboleth.
In true fashion, the whole death equals freedom thing, because they had the guy kidnapped and was like, if you tell us where it's at, I'll set you free, and then he kills him.
Yeah. You're like,
It's like that's such a stupid trope that
Yeah.
happens every time. Then I said, every time I see Noble's stick, I can't help but think, I'm getting me mallet.
That's like what you say whenever
Yeah.
I see Noble's stick.
Yeah. No, but it's what it is. What else you gonna call it?
you're
It's
right.
not. It's a fucking leg bone, is what realistically it looks like. But
Yeah. Well, it looks like a femur.
Yeah.
A long.
it's what I'm
long
saying. Like
femur.
it's
yeah,
so
it
long.
does.
Yeah.
I just
Also,
didn't think about that. Yeah.
I
Fucking
haven't
Storm Giant. Did you steal that from?
I haven't
the
seen
skinny
this much overt Nazi propaganda since Starship Troopers. Like,
That was fun.
yeah, but it's like the same level of like, we want you to know they're evil, so we make them Nazis without the Nazi symbol.
Well, there was General Hux
Yeah.
even that's not even as close.
because I mean they had the stormtroopers in the background.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah, so
close.
I guess so. I guess it's not quite as much.
Yeah.
It's not quite as overt.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was very overt.
This is a funny part that I noticed. So the betrayal, Charlie Hunnam's betrayal near the end. I think it was near the end. I don't even remember.
It is. It's like in the final.
If you have
act.
subtitles on, it's given away. Because it's
given away.
it's-
In what way?
Something comes up, like something is said in the background, and they subtitle it. That you see that they're like talking, like Charlie Hunnam's over in the
Oh.
corner, and he's like, "Yeah, they're here. When's so and so? I think it's like when's Noble going to be here, or something to that
Oh.
effect." And it's just so
Okay.
like because it has the character's name.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I should have wrote down word for word what it said that gave it away, but it just
It's like in the background.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the background that it happens, and you see it, and I'm like, oh, well,
All
I guess that's gonna happen.
A show of hands. Who didn't expect that?
I was kind of I thought I thought it was gonna be a double turn where he was gonna sell him
back
out
good,
and then flip back good. I was actually like, oh, they actually committed to it. Like he's
No, they
actually
used a bolt gun.
he's actually a shithead. I'm like, okay, fair.
It's funny that you asked for a show of hands. Audio podcast. Nobody raised their hand, by the way. But the next note that I have is: did anyone think for a second that Charlie Hunnam's character was actually "quote unquote" going good?
No.
Because we start off with he's a
No.
bad guy anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, he's Han Solo, but bad.
Yeah, that was the only part that made me be like, this is just is he just Han Solo or is he like different? That's why I was like, I don't know. I'll find out.
I just wish he would wear clothes in space. Because he's never wearing clothes. It's always like a wife beater.
Yeah, that's
Literally what
I
he's
think
wearing
that's
on the
just
ship
Charlie
is-
Hunnam. He just likes wearing wife beaters. That's
They
all he
just-
wears in fucking Sons of Anarchy too.
They just called Charlie Hunnam and said, "Hey, you want to act in this movie?" He's like, "Sure." How's my character going to be dressed? Just bring your own clothes.
Yeah,
What's
pretty
with none of the clothes in space world? Space universe? Why do none of them have clothing? Do they forget how to make dye?
Yeah.
All the clothing is like the color of dirty dishwater. And that's what you want your wife beater to look like.
Yeah.
Dirty dishwater.
I mean, most of the time, that's what they do look like anyway, because they're just dirty in general. The final fight of the movie, which was probably like 15, 20 minutes long, zoned out for the entire thing. I don't remember a single fucking thing happening in that
It's okay
fight.
because if they had put it in real time in slow mode, it would have taken 5 seconds.
That's probably why I zoned out, because it was too much slow-mo. And next up, I put, do we really need a part 2? No, we don't. I don't care about the story in the slightest.
Hey, we're getting it.
I know we're getting it, and I'll watch it.
I'm gonna watch it because I want to know exactly how far this train wreck goes.
I want to get out a Monster Manual and just start taking notes.
I want to
see
know.
what
I want
other
to know:
ones
is
they
there a
had.
Death Star? Are we gonna? It's like what? How close can we get to Star Wars without like?
Well, seeing as like a majority of the story, an overarching, is actually stolen from a book series called The New Jedi Order.
Yeah.
Which is the one where the Yuzhong Vong, the alien race, comes from outside the galaxy, comes in and starts killing everybody. It's very much this story, except for it's based in like the people from Earth are coming to kill everybody and everybody else for reasons.
Reasons unknown.
Because there's supposed to be this like pacifist guy who's actually supporting the people fighting against the Yuzhong Vong, who looks like this weird alien dude with these weird tentacle things that's coming off and these weird little like things that are coming off his face. It looks almost exactly like Levictus or whatever his name is, the alien dude on the planet. I remember it's like Levictus or something.
I have no idea.
Looks exactly like one of the alien dudes. Like it's hit by what's his name with his leg bone.
No,
There's
Noble.
Titus, and then there's Belisarius.
That was the one that that was the Thanos character. Belisarius is Thanos, the one that abducted Gamora.
King Levitica.
Levitica, that was it. So Levitica plays the same role, and what happens is he plays this sort of diversion tactic to attract the bad guys to him, while the others get away and try to unsuccessfully like sabotage, right?
Yeah.
And then the bad guy comes to this alien guy and kills him in front of all of his people while they fail at actually committing sabotage, which is the exact story for the end of this movie.
Yeah.
Like to a T.
It's,
And they even have the same alien on there, which again looks like one of the stupidest aliens I've ever seen. My dad said that he looked like he put glue on his face and stuck his head in the box of alien parts and lifted it back out, and that's what they stuck with for the alien.
Yeah. Accurate.
If my parents
don't like it.
if my parents are
Critiquing it?
it that much, which they usually are okay with any movie as long as there's not a lot of sex scenes.
Yeah. That's probably the only thing this has got going for it.
Not a lot of sex scenes.
There was none, I don't think.
They almost had
well,
one in
I
the
mean,
barn.
yeah.
That was going to be rough.
Well, that one and then the tentacle thing. I guess you could count those two.
Well, I mean, but they didn't even show the whole creature. They just showed
Yeah.
the tentacles coming up and
Rubbing
touching
it.
his nipples. Yeah. But if my parents are doing that, it's got to be real bad.
Yeah. So now that we've went through that dumpster fire in roughly 20 minutes,
What else is there to do? Sorry, Jamie. I know you kind of like the movie, but
You were wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, Jamie.
boy, if there was ever a time to be wrong, this is not the one you want to be wrong on.
like it's not the worst movie I've ever seen
It's-
before, but it's not a great
I mean,
movie.
you're right. It's not Lucy.
We all have a movie that we're like, it's the worst thing.
It's not Ernest Goes to Camp.
There you go. See,
Okay.
we all have a movie.
Lucy popped up on Netflix the other
Yep.
day.
See,
And I was
Where?
so ready to cancel my Netflix just for that.
I seen it and left.
I was like, they don't deserve my money.
I can never watch that movie just because I know I'll just laugh through the entire thing because I'll be like, Tyler hates this movie, and it's actually all right.
It may be.
Unsubscribe.
I'm
But
like,
I just-
that's why I'm like, I can never watch it because it's way funnier to me to make thinking it's actually the most dog shit movie that's ever existed.
Everybody just needs to unsubscribe from Netflix and put in the other for why.
It's Rebel Moon and Lucy.
Rebel Moon and Lucy. Until you get rid of these, we're not coming back.
I wonder if anyone's ever done that before. Like, I'm not subscribing
until you get rid of this
Yeah,
movie.
get rid of this movie.
I just like.
I just don't think Zack Snyder ought to make movies.
There's very few times in my life.
He just needs someone above
has
him to
been-
say no.
It has
Yeah.
been so long since he's made a movie that wasn't just complete shit. And that was Dawn of the Dead.
But we know he can do it. So he just needs someone
He
over.
can't do it because that was when that was his first big movie. And he can't do it because he had a lot of oversight for that movie. Ever since then, it's just been slow-mo the entire time.
So that's all he needs is oversight. Someone just needs to be like, Zach, no.
Slow-mo and bad casting
stop.
choices. Every time. Except for Henry Cavill.
There's very few movies that I've been upset that I've watched and like wasted my time on it. This is one. It's the main reason why I'm like making us talk about it because I dislike it that much.
Like, I've wasted my time,
think-
so now we will waste
Yeah.
yours.
I think
I'm
one of
gonna
the...
make everybody. It's my problem, and I'm making it everybody else's.
I have to be honest. I think one of the main reasons this movie makes me so frustrated is because it made me say, well, Disney made the right choice. And I never wanted to say that. Like, why would I want to say that?
He said, "I never
Thanks-
wanted to agree with
Thanks,
Disney."
Zack Snyder. Thanks, you piece of shit.
Thanks. I agree with Disney. Fuck. So on to the ratings for this shit show
Why?
because it's funny.
0.
I didn't mean our ratings. I meant the
I looked him up. They're shit.
when I looked them up. I'm looking them up again just to make
Oh,
sure
that's probably
that
went down.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm looking them up again because
Like 23 or something like that.
it was bad. It's got a 21% tomato meter and a 58% audience score, which is way too fucking high. Who is the 58% of you that are saying you like this?
There's a bunch of Jamie clones
Yeah, it's
out
Jamie.
there.
It's just too high. I don't like it.
Oh, we liked it.
I thought it was interesting. And then the IMDb was a 5.6 out of 10 and a 31 critic score. So not only do critics fucking hate it, normally that's not typical. Normally you get one, like one will like it, one thinks it's shitty.
Or both will like it.
Or both will like it, or both will hate it.
Yeah.
Well, not usually both will hate it. Like I feel like every time I see one, it's like critics like it and people hate it.
If it's a
One
really,
or the
actually,
other
really bad
like
movie.
it, or both like it. Usually is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, you know, if it's actually truly bad, they're like, no, this is just dog shit all the way around.
Yeah. I did read, I went through and actually read some of the
Positive?
reviews. No. God, no. I didn't see any positives.
I would automatically just try and go look for the positive and just
It'd
be
be
like,
easier to read through them.
not
because
like the 10 out of
there's
10s, but
two.
like the person that gave this like a 7. I wanted to see what that person says. Where they're like, it's an all right movie. I'm like, interesting. Tell me why.
Well, that one's a mile long, so I'm not reading it. This one's not as long. Here's a 7 out of 10 that was on December 31st. So I'm going to go back to what was bad about it. Most of them said bad plot, nothing original, poor dialogue, and nothing happens,
That's also
which
true.
is very accurate.
Yeah, true.
So this 7 out of 10 says, well, after reading some of the reviews, I sort of braced for impact, but it was not as bad as I expected. True, the acting is well, let's say, or below par, but so was the acting in the first Star Wars movies, to be honest. Not this bad.
No, it's not that bad.
The graphics were above par, way beyond to my surprise. Does this make up for the not that good? My God, this person can't type. All of these words are wrong. That's what's taken me so long.
He's like, I have to decipher their language.
Not that good acting. Nope, but it eases the pain. Do I care that it has a lot in common with the original? With Star Wars? A bit. But not so much that I bothered, to be honest. This movie is good enough on its own. Give it a chance and watch it without your mind made up. You might end up liking it. Me, Laleeks, you're fucking wrong.
See, I wondered if there were people that the 7 out of 10 people were just gonna be like, they got tricked because it's close enough to Star Wars where it tricks their brain into liking it.
These are
like-
the same
like that
people
Pat-
that
like
liked
that-
the first Aragon movie.
Like that,
The only
it's like a
Aragon movie.
Pavlovian thing where
Yeah.
they're like, oh,
Yeah.
They've been-
lightsaber, Empire,
Yeah.
Rebel,
Right.
yes, I like.
Yeah.
Okay, there's two things. There's that is they're seeing parts from other things that they like, and so they're associating it with happy memories. The other thing is other people are they're seeing bad reviews.
Yeah, their
And their-
expectations were set so low.
And then whenever everything's at the fucking bottom, it can only go up. Here's an 8 out of 10.
Wow. An
8.
Yeah, 8.
8?
Yeah,
Were
there's
they
actually
wanting to die and they had an aneurysm in the middle of it?
there's actually like several 8 out of 10s all here in a row.
Oh, fuck those people.
This one says, "Hi, my name is Feast Mode, and I'm a sci-fi junkie. After watching this movie, I'm ecstatic to have witnessed the creation of this beautiful sci-fi world." This is Zack Snyder writing this. "I'm immediately invested. I love it. I want more now. There are a few things you should expect from a Zack Snyder movie. 1, stunning visuals. This entire movie is sci-fi eye candy with high levels of imagination. I can."
It
no,
does.
it's
It does.
not. They stole every bit of it. It's
it
not
looks-
imaginative.
It looks pretty. I'll give him that much.
It looks pretty. That's not Zack Snyder's doing. That's
will-
the CGI people.
I will give stunning visuals. The rest of the sentence,
I'll
no.
give it stunning visuals.
2, amazing music. Of course, it's by Junkie XL. He has done many of Snyder's other movies.
Whatever.
I don't really even remember any of the fucking music
That
playing.
means it wasn't terrible.
3, lots of, and this is in all capital letters, beastly slow motion shots. Some people complain about him overusing it. Not me. So many of those scenes gave me goosebumps, especially with the music playing. I was dreading having to wait over a year or longer for the next one, but it's scheduled for April 2024.
Oh God.
I
I thought.
can't-
I thought.
19th. It's the 19th.
Yeah, it says
Coming out the 19th of April.
Oh no.
I period can't period wait period.
All right, bro. You know what? More power to you.
I mean,
Like
yeah.
what you like. I don't care.
I do.
Yeah, we know you do.
I know I will. Yeah, I would tell that
I
person.
don't agree with him, but I'm like,
Oh.
look, man.
Here's
You
a 9.
Oh wow.
A 9, man.
This film, by the often consistent and great Zack Snyder, is indeed a nice blockbuster around Christmas times.
We are really stretching the words consistent and great.
And director.
But he is a director.
No, this is a piece of shit. He just ate something and shit it out.
It's a nice blockbuster around Christmas time and a good placeholder for a Star Wars film we never got, especially in times when Star Wars has been a bit absent in terms of cinematic experiences.
We did get this movie. What are you talking about? We got this movie.
No, he's saying like it's a Star Wars film that
Yeah,
But-
we got this movie already.
Oh, did we?
Twice. It's called A New Hope
yeah.
and fucking A Force Awakens.
yeah, you're right.
What are we talking about?
And then, without actually using the Star Wars brand as originally intended, it does include many of the franchise's signature items: a hero's journey, an evil galactic empire, over-the-top villains, lightsabers are somewhat similar. I don't remember any lightsabers.
I do.
and
Nemesis had those blades,
Yeah.
and then she would activate them. They turn red, and they certainly weren't lightsabers. Apparently,
Yep. And
Laser
android
swords.
robots. It does, in many ways, feel like a welcome return, even if it is a bit lacking with the same depth that made Star Wars so great. The effects are great, though, very beautiful in terms of cinematography, cutting and editing, and overall a great mix of CGI and practical. A fun adventure, to say the least, and in a bit of a new age of Star Wars. Maybe these inspired by smaller adventures is the right way to go. I'm going to keep looking to see if I can't find any other like 9s. There are actually, honest to God, a lot of 8s. That one's, that's a 9, but I'm not reading it. It's way too long.
I mean, there has to be 9s or 9s and 8s because they're
those
so.
Zack Snyder fanboys out there too.
Listen, I am seeing a lot of 8s, 9s, 1s.
Yeah, that's the ones are what's dragging it down to the 5.5 or
because
5.6.
it deserves it.
Here's a 10 out of 10.
That one, that's what I expected. I was expecting more like it'd be like 10s, 1s, 10s, 1s.
Yeah. I finally got the chance to watch Rebel Moon, and I got to say, it was incredibly cinematic and pretty action-packed when it comes to Zack Snyder,
Snacks.
who made Dawn of the Dead, 300, Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, and Zack Snyder's Justice League and Army of the Dead. I pretty much enjoyed this movie because of Zack Snyder, who knows how to make movies so cinematic in the most possible way for his filmmaking industries. Sofia Boutella was great and so brilliant as she played the most badass character known as Korra. I also loved her in The Mummy 2017, Star Trek Beyond, and Kingsman. The cast and crew did a really good job with their roles, and the acting was pretty good, and the story was not that bad when it comes to true storytelling from your very own making. It's not finished, but true storytelling of your very own making, but we talked about how much shit they stole.
I'm kind of done with this person.
For me, it was totally cinematic, and I say this is worth a movie to watch 100%, and it's also Zack Snyder's movie of the year in 2023.
He only made one. Yeah, right? Yeah. He only made one.
That's the only one
He only made one.
Oh,
Yeah,
but-
of course, it's number one of his movies.
Well, I was making sure it wasn't.
I'm with you on this.
Justice.
These are just Zack Snyder coming on here, and yeah,
Here's a 9 out of 10. Is it like Star Wars? Yes. Is it like Dune? Yes. Is it like Ants? Yes. Are all of
okay, I never got the ants one. All right, yeah, I see it though.
oh, it is.
I never heard that.
Oh,
one
it
before.
is.
That's
Yeah.
funny though.
Are all of the above good shows? Yes. Is it actually those good shows?
No,
No. Did I enjoy watching it? Yes. Can Rebel Moon not be just judged on its own merits? There is a good
No.
storyline. There's excellent visual effects. The cast is fantastic, and their acting on the show is up to a high standard. As I write this, I am looking forward to the next installment. However, like similar movies that get review bombed, I hope it doesn't face the same fate where we are robbed of more movies because of a viral gripe over mediocre reasons. How are you going to say it's over mediocre reasons when you're talking about how good the movie is? Like, you got to pick one. It's either mediocre or it's really good.
also, unless this was like literally like his best movie ever, like
It's not.
I'm saying, unless it was, I just don't think that Netflix was going to be like,
Man of
hey,
Steel is his best movie.
I don't think they
Man
were.
of Steel is
I don't
his
think they
best
were going to be like, hey, make like 7 more of these movies. The only reason we get a second one is because they paid for 2.
Yeah.
Without that, we're getting this one, and that was it.
This is a 3 out of 10, but I want to read it because I like the title, which is Script is by a 12-year-old. Zach really hasn't written a movie worth watching since the original 300. And this movie continues the downward spiral as you listen to the half-baked dialogue and pedantic lines coming out of those actors' mouths. It's laughable and uninspired. We all knew this would be largely a computer-generated movie, but the CGI is atrocious and embarrassing. I don't think it was.
I don't think the
that
CGI
bad.
is that bad.
That's the only highlight of the movie.
Yeah,
That's usually where you can trust Zack Snyder is to. He should be a production manager.
as long as it's not a mustache.
Yeah, but that was also like a time thing. Like they didn't have enough time to do that.
Layers of digital imagery that don't even remotely appear realistic. The action sequences are trash as well, still using bullet time and stop motion mechanics from 25 years ago. Each semblance of an action scene has a pause to hone in on the digitally created or altered sequence, making it more ridiculous than it would have been had Zack never slowed down the shot. Characters are standing in the middle of a rapid machine laser fire and not even taking a single hit. People are overly melodramatic for no reason. There is a guy wearing more bronzer than an entire tanning salon owns, and Zack chose to have the bad guy resemble Dutch neo-Nazis. Nothing about this is really inspiring at all. Nothing is redeeming at all. People just want to fight Motherworld on the back of a couple of corny gimmick lines from the main character.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's fairly accurate. Minus the CGI thing, because I didn't think it looked bad.
No,
Besides
no.
the vagina rift,
even
That's
that
like
looked,
just a design thing.
Yeah.
even that didn't look bad. It just looked like a vagina.
yeah. All right, I think we've spent enough time.
I could keep going. I don't want to.
I know we all could. We could talk about how bad this movie is for an hour, but there's no point in doing that. The people don't want to hear us just bitch. They might. I don't know.
Maybe. Hey, wait. If you're really curious about how bad it is,
Go watch
go watch it. If you think it's going to be bad, but you want to experience it for yourself, go watch it. That is the only 2 options.
it. Yeah. Oh, we didn't rate it ourselves.
No, we didn't. That's what I was waiting on.
Yep. And we're starting with you.
Point 1.
Jesus Christ.
That's pretty okay. That's pretty memey of me. Okay,
It was very memey of
Point
you.
1. That's how much I feel about it. But if I'm going to actually rate it, the CGI is pretty good. There's like the actual like world building of each world, like the way that it looks and everything. It's very good. I guess it looks good. That's still not enough to make it above a 1.5.
Thought we were going to
I
go
was like 4. That's what I thought he was going to say.
Because everything else is so trash. I cannot rate it over that. I can't.
I was expecting like a 3 or a 4 at least.
Usually I think about like each point, was the CGI good? were the worlds sort of nice to look at? Were they different from one another? You know, and I kind of get like different points in there for that. But everything else was so bad, I had to subtract from like a 4.
They started at like a negative.
It would
5.
start at like a 4.
Okay.
Is where I would start it at. But then when I have to subtract from everything else that was bad, from having to steal so much stuff from everywhere else, and then making me agree with Disney, I have to bring it down like 3 points. So I'll go with a 1.5, and that 5 is gracious. So you're welcome.
That's fucking great. It's me. I give it like a 3. I mean, I agree with what Ethan just said. Besides the agreeing with Disney, because I didn't know that he pitched it to Disney to start with, to be honest. But like, it does look good. Besides the slow-mo shots, which look terrible because they're slow-mo shots, they stop doing slow-mo shots. They almost never look good.
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
Hasn't looked good since Days of Future Past.
Yeah. What about you, Jarrett?
I will go the highest at a 4.
I'm still glad that we didn't get above 4. I thought you were going to say like 6.
No.
Or some stupid shit. And then I thought Ethan was going to flip the table.
What would you do if I would have given it like an 8.5?
I would call you a liar. I would call you a liar.
Jared says, "Oh, it's 8.5. I know that we riffed on it, but I actually liked it."
Again, wasn't the worst thing, but I definitely, after it was over, was like, oh God, we're gonna have to talk about this. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, unfortunately.
Here's how, if I don't like it, it's a bad movie.
Yeah.
Because I generally like everything.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening through that. Unfortunately, we appreciate you guys listening. If you made it this far, if not, I understand it entirely.
Yeah.
I'm debating on putting this episode out just as a freebie
Just a freebie.
on a different day.
It's like, surprise, bitches.
Yeah.
Why not? It's worthless, just
Maybe-
like the movie.
What day does April Fool's come out? Like, when is April's Fool's?
It's the first.
I know
Of
that.
April?
I meant you fucking idiot. I fucking hate you so much.
Still smarter than Zack Snyder.
It's a Monday, so I may release it on a Monday and then give an actual episode on Tuesday.
April Fool's, surprise.
We changed to Monday. Enjoy where we talk about our favorite movie of 2023.
God. Favorite movie of 2023.
We talk about Zack Snyder's movie of the year 2023. Okay, thanks for listening. Use the links and you can find all the other stuff about us. And you can riff on this movie with us in the Discord if you want to.
I'm going to go take a lead candy.
Deuce.